Alright, what's up? It's here, and of course, welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can tell by the title, in this one, we're going to take a look at the top 10 best score streaks or kill streaks in Call of Duty history. Now, to be fair, I'm going to casually assume that, as per usual, quite a few of you are going to disagree with me. And in this case, simply because there are too many damn solid score streaks to pick from. So quite frankly, I can't pick them all. In that case, maybe it would have been best to go for like a top 20, a top 30, something like that. But hey ho, as per usual, be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Try to keep it civil, and apart from that, let's get to it.
Target reset. UAV online. Shot!
With that said, at the number 10 spot, we have the Assault Juggernaut, of course, from Modern Warfare 3. Now, I'd love to go back and record some gameplay for all of you. However, my Xbox 360 is no longer capable of reading discs. Obviously, I need to get that laser fixed, but quite frankly, my procrastinating game is far too strong for that. Let's be honest. That's never going to happen, but in this case it was definitely a tie between either this one or the attack helicopter from Call of Duty 4, which of course under the right circumstances could definitely be quite the annoyance as well. But I figured I would put this one at the number 10 just because there's nothing quite like walking around like a goddamn tank, hosing people down as they desperately try to get away. Now of course this suit also came with one big downside, and that's the fact that you couldn't sprint whilst wearing one of these suits. Obviously, if you were playing against a full party, that meant dying very quickly simply because it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to take you down. But normally speaking, playing against a full party of randoms, that wasn't the case. In that case, they try to run for their lives. And in that case, you'd be able to rack up quite a few kills. Anyway, so next up, at the number 9 spot, we have the Battlehound, of course, from Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, I'm going to casually assume that a lot of you didn't expect to hear anything from this game. However, basically, yesterday over on Facebook and Twitter, I asked all of you to send me your favorite score streaks in Call of Duty history, and a lot of you mentioned the Pavlo from Modern Warfare 2. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's also in Modern Warfare 3. Simply correct me if I'm wrong. Not too sure about that one. But the Battlehound is essentially a reimagined version of the Pavlo. It's the exact same thing, just with a different name and a different look. Of course, a 9 kill streak, and it goes absolutely ham. Now, the reason I decided to pick the one from Call of Duty Ghosts over the one from Modern Warfare 2 is because there are no lock-on launchers in this game, meaning that taking down score streaks is a heck of a lot more difficult. So, that being said, the aerial streaks in Call of Duty Ghosts are just a bit more reliable than those in MW2 and MW3. So even though it's not as nostalgic, it's definitely a very powerful one. Now, at the number 8 spot, we of course have the Lodestar from Black Ops 2. Now, I'm not too sure if some of you agree with me, but this is one of my favorite score streaks in Call of Duty history. So I felt like, you know what, this thing should be on the list for sure. For starters, it's either a 1500 or a 1600 point score streak. Pretty damn difficult to get in Team Deathmatch, which of course is my main game mode. But even though this flying tank can get you a ton of kills, especially on open maps, but the main reason it's memorable to me is due to the sound that it produces. In fact, the metal that pops up every single time you get a kill is called Distant Thunder. And quite frankly, I feel like that suits this score streak perfectly. In fact, let me hop on Black Ops 2 for all of you. Try to get the Lodestar, and then you can have a listen for yourself.
Reaper has PID of multiple enemy.
Objective almost complete. Don't quit now.
Rifle.
Now, at the number 7 spot, we have another one that is definitely a fan favorite, and definitely one of my favorite score streaks in Call of Duty history as well, and that's of course the Chopper Gunner. And in this case, we're talking about the one from Black Ops and not the one from Modern Warfare 2. However, don't worry, the other one will pop up in a little bit. I've got you covered. Basically, for those that don't know, this right here is only a 9 kill streak. Of course, an 8 kill streak using the perk Hardline. And quite frankly, once you called it in and opened those doors, that was it. Time to go to town, especially on open maps like Firing Range, Crisis, Nuketown, but most importantly, Jungle. If you managed to get the Chopper Gunner on that map, that was it. Game over. Now, unlike the one in MW2, the one in Black Ops 1 basically strays around the map for I think 60 seconds, unless of course it gets taken down, which happened more often than I kind of wanted to, but quite frankly, it still got you a ton of kills. I want to say like 8 out of 10 times, maybe 7 out of 10 times if you're a very unlucky person. So obviously this one definitely deserves a spot on this list as well. And it kind of makes me want to jump on Black Ops 1 for a bit too. I actually have that one as well. Got it together with Black Ops 3 for the Xbox 360, I think about a year ago now. Something like that. Now, of course, at the number 6 spot, we have the Orbital VSAT. Or, of course, the Orbital MESAT for those that like to play free-for-all. Something I used to say back in the day, I know slightly corny, but surely some of you would appreciate it. And, of course, I know what you're thinking as well. Why not the Blackbird from Black Ops 1? Because, of course, they're the exact same thing, just a different name. Essentially, the buffed-up UAVs that allow you to spot every single one of your opponents on the minimap. Plus, it also shows you which direction they're looking at, aka winning gunfights for days, whilst one of these bad boys is up in the air. Because of course, in this case, you can prepare yourself for a gunfight before it actually happens, plus you can make sure that you shoot most of your opponents in the back, resulting in a ton of easy kills. Now of course, the main reason I went with the VSAT over the Blackbird from Black Ops 1 It's simply because Black Ops 2 as a whole is a lot more fast paced. So because of that, I usually end up getting more kills while the VSAT is up, as opposed to when the Black Belt is up though. These score streaks are exactly the same, so in this case, it doesn't really matter which one of the two you prefer. Now, at the number 5 spot, we have the AC-130, of course from Modern Warfare 2. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware of the fact that this one is also available in Modern Warfare 3, but let's be honest, it's just not the same thing. It's just not as iconic as the one from Modern Warfare 2. Of course, we were first introduced to the power of the AC-130 all the way back in Call of Duty 4 during the campaign mission Death from Above. And frankly, when this thing was introduced to us as a kill streak back in Modern Warfare 2, a lot of us were hyped for it. And then of course, once we got our hands on it for the very first time, we also figured out, you know what? This thing is pretty damn deadly. And of course, the rest of it is history. Now, to be fair, when it came down to going for nukes, I would really only use the AC-130 on the map Wastelands. That is easily the most open map in M.2, so in that case, this thing would reign supreme. But apart from that, your boy, just like everybody else, would go for the chopper gun. And then again, this one too will go down as one of the most memorable score streaks in Call of Duty history. Now, at the number 4 spot, we have another fan favorite, one that we saw for the very first time back in World War, and that's of course the K9 unit. Now, to be fair, I never really used this one on Black Ops 1. I was far too busy trying to get my hands on the chopper gun and the VSAT. Gonna be very honest about that. And then once again, in Black Ops 2, I didn't use it very much because I was too busy trying to get good gameplays for YouTube. In which case, I would either use non-lethals or, of course, lower-end score streaks, the UAV, the Hellstorm, the Lightning Strike, the VSAT, the EMP, you name it. But all the way back in Call of Duty World at War, I very thoroughly enjoyed calling in the K9 unit, just because there's something very satisfying about watching your puppies rip your opponents to shreds. And in this case, they did that very literally by ripping off their arms, their legs, and so on and so forth. Quite frankly, it was one hell of a sight. Now, at the number 3 spot, we have a tryhard's favorite tool, and that's of course the Chopper Gunner from Modern Warfare 2. Now again, just like with the AC-130, I'm fully aware of the fact that there's a very similar score streak in M.3. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the Osprey Gunner from Modern Warfare 3 is the exact same thing, but again, it's just not as iconic. In fact, I'm fairly confident some of you had already forgotten about it. Let's be honest over here. Anyway, of course, the Chopper Gunner was my go-to kill streak for getting nukes back in M.2. In fact, my go-to score streak setup was the Harrier Strike, the Chopper Gunner, and then obviously the nuke. But when I first started going for nukes back in the day, I actually wasn't very good at the game. In fact, I was mildly average at the game, so because of that, I was oftentimes that tryhard, sitting in the corner with a suppressed M4, a suppressed ACR, maybe sometimes the TAR-21, just desperately trying to get my hands on the Harrier Strike, then of course the Chopper Gunner, and so on and so forth. Now, to be fair, there's one thing that to this date annoys me about the Chopper Gunner, and that's of course the fact that you can't manually make it go to a different spot, because every now and then it would just screw you over to a point where you couldn't even get any kills, just because it was placed in such a horrible position. Thank God Treyarch didn't make that same mistake with the VTOL warship in Black Ops 2. Now, at the number 2 spot, we have a kill streak that made quite a wave over here on YouTube, started a ton of new trends as well, and that's of course the mother of all bombs, the MOAB from Modern Warfare 3. Now, in order for you to get your hands on this kill streak, you actually had to get a 25 gun streak, which at the time was something that was pretty damn difficult, especially considering that back in Modern Warfare 2, we only had to get 7 kills using our weapon to essentially get the nuke. Now, to be fair, the introduction of Specialists in Modern Warfare 3 definitely made our lives a heck of a lot easier, especially once you managed to get that final Specialist bonus, of course rewarding you with every single perk in the game, essentially making you a living and breathing god. At that point in time, the only things that could screw you over was getting shot in the back, getting overrun by too many people at once, of course getting killed by a camper sitting in a corner somewhere, but most importantly, getting too damn cocky, thinking you're invincible. Now, I know that I normally speaking don't really do this, but today we're also going to take a look at some honorable mentions, simply because I personally feel like there are far too many solid score streaks in Call of Duty history to just pick 10, right? Let's be honest over here. So with that being said, first things first, we have my favorite score streak in Call of Duty history, and that's of course the UAV. Quite frankly, I'm a little ashamed that none of you mentioned this one, alright? This one has been the pinnacle of kill streaks or score streaks ever since Call of Duty 4. It's super useful. Anyway, next up, the care package. Now, although I usually end up getting a counter UAV, or back in the day on Black Ops 1, I used to always get ammo, you can't deny the presence of the care package in every single Call of Duty title. This one definitely deserves to be mentioned as well. Next up, the VTOL warship from Black Ops 2, aka a more powerful chopper gunner. Also, the stealth chopper from Black Ops 2, better known to some of you as the Ray from Black Ops 3. This one goes ham, literally every single time you call it in. Plus, it has a fancy feature as well. Basically, if you try to take down the stealth chopper either using a rocket launcher or your weapon, it'll automatically target you first in an effort to stay afloat for a little longer. Next up, the mothership from Black Ops 3. Now, to be fair, I think I only used this one once, and honestly didn't get too many kills with it, but quite a few of you mentioned it. Of course, also the aerial assault drone from Advanced Warfare. Now, I don't remember exactly what modifications you used to put on this one, but basically it was an AI-controlled rocket launch, and quite frankly, it was super deadly. And then finally, we have the Warden from Infinite Warfare. Just because this is arguably the only decent kill streak in Infinite Warfare, so you know what? This one deserves a mention too. Anyway, with that being said, at the number 1 spot, and surely some of you had already guessed this, it's of course the nuke from Modern Warfare 2. In fact, the game-ending nuke from Modern Warfare 2. Now, whether you love or hate this one, you can't deny the fact that this is arguably the most popular kill streak in Call of Duty history, and with that, also the most powerful kill streak in Call of Duty history, because of course, the moment you caught this one in and the timer hit 0, that's it, victory. And with that, you also killed all of your teammates and all of your opponents. Anyway, with that being said, let me know in the comments down below what you think of today's list. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, some support, a like rating would be very much appreciated. If not, that's cool. Let's aim for 250 likes on this video. That'd be pretty damn sweet. And apart from that, if you want to, you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find all those things down below in the description. And then finally, in fact, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the continued support. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy.
We're winning this fight.
Missile away. Reaper's ready to prosecute all targets of opportunity. Relay to ground force commander going.
Care package inbound.